I'm talking with Connie Quinn, who is a member of Upper Ohio Valley Presbytery, which has a unique ministry and partnership with Dakota Presbytery. Connie, can you tell us a little bit about that partnership?
Certainly. About 12 years ago now, the mission outreach unit of our presbytery decided that we were being called into Native ministries. And someone suggested that we go to the Pine Ridge Reservation, since that seemed to be one of the poorest in the country. We arrived there. We had no work to do, but the director of the Reconciliation Center had a wonderful program set up that pretty much let us know about every facet of Native life on that reservation. Some thought that it was a waste of time. Others thought that it was the best thing in the world. I personally thought that it was a very unique way to introduce us into a partnership. And from that point on, we began attending the Dakota Presbytery meetings, which happen twice a year, usually the first full weekend in May and the first full weekend in October. And you have to understand that Dakota Presbytery is non-geographical. It encompasses North and South Dakota, Minnesota, and Montana. So over the past 12 years, we have been all over the West. One of the things that we were told going in by a very wise lady from Baltimore Presbytery was, do not go in there with preconceived ideas. Do not go in there trying to tell people what it is they need. Just be their friend. It may take a year or two, but you will eventually figure out where God's leading you. Well, it took 6 years, but we kept going. We became trusted members and friends, and they started talking about how they needed education. At that time, most of their CREs were basically handed a Bible and said, go preach. That worked somewhat, but they knew they had to go forward. And there was a group of 5 pastors who graduated from Dubuque in the 60s. They pretty much controlled the presbytery, and I understand that because they had been so discriminated against, and once they were ordained and in their presbytery, they quite honestly used the power of their position to keep the power right within their little circle. Now there is only one of those pastors who is living, and his health precludes his involvement. Now there are younger pastors, CREs, a couple of ordained pastors, and they want to be trained. They came to us, asked if we would be able to help them, and we said yes. Fern Cloud, who is their stated clerk and their treasurer, wrote a grant through the denomination and was awarded, I believe, $30,000. Upper Ohio Valley also wrote a grant through the Synod, and we were awarded money. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but when you've got 20-some people gathering for a week, and you have to house them, you have to feed them, you have to buy books, there's just so much that goes into that, and the first 2 training sessions cost between $12,000 and $15,000. We are now at a place where the money is gone. So at the meeting last week, on behalf of Upper Ohio Valley, I stated that if Dakota can come up with $5,000, we can match the $5,000, and we will begin looking for other ways to finance.
What has it meant to the presbytery? What has this partnership meant to the presbytery?
Which one? Both?
Upper Ohio Valley. I mean, what has it meant to Upper Ohio Valley Presbytery?
To Upper Ohio Valley, to begin with, we have what we call passion projects. And Dakota Presbytery is one of those projects, which means that we are self-funded. And it means basically that if you're involved, then you really are involved. And as time goes on, we are getting more and more churches interested. We've got a potential trip planned to Montana this summer. We went there one other summer to work with the youth. And unfortunately, it was right before COVID, so we haven't been able to go back, but we are planning another trip, and the interest so far has really been great. I've had people saying, when are we going? Could we go? And the answer is, I don't know when we're going. It'll be summer, and yes, certainly, we would love to have you.
Yeah. Great. Connie, this has been great. I appreciate your time talking about this ministry, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. And we will. We will. But we also know that God has to be in the mix for it to go forward. And we believe that God is.